face with me. See your face.
Hey, this is why they said AI will take our job because this guy is talking.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. You want me to come off camera, right?
Yeah, you can act so they will see your face and know who they are talking to actually.
Okay, let me try and put off my camera now.
Finally, so this is Francis. This face we are familiar with.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Francis Polaromi. I'm a data professional. I think that is about it. I'm a data professional. I love Microsoft ecosystem. Basically, I work as a data analyst, as Power BI developer, as data engineer. Now, I am currently working as a practice lead for data and AI in a consultancy firm. I have a background as a pharmacist, but I transitioned to being a data professional a very few years ago, and here we are. Happy to be here.
Thank you very much for that humble introduction. He said, thank you very, yeah, you should know by now that data people are very humble and they don't like to talk too much. Just a brief introduction. But to add the very important point, you need to know that Francis said he forgot, he just mentioned it casually. He said he's a pharmacist, which means he was already having money somewhere before he decided to just say, this pharmacist is boring. Let me just transition. And he went somewhere else. But thank you very much, Francis. Interesting. He's an interesting guy. Nice to meet you. I if yeah, I wanted to introduce the guest actually, but I'm not sure I'll do justice to it. Imagine me introducing Tina. Yeah, I don't know what to say. So so she's going to be very humble too. She probably just say, community manager, please check her profile very well. The profile is long, very long list from here to here to here, just in case. Tina, it's really nice to meet you. It's nice to have you here too.
Thank you. It's my honor to be here. And by the way, no, I'm not downplaying me again. This 2026. We have been very, very loud. We have
Thank
been very
you.
loud and
Thank
we're
you.
bragging this year.
Thank you.
Don't mind me, guys. It's really good to be here. My name is Tina Okonkwo, and I'm so many things, by the way. I'm a data analyst, I'm a community manager, I'm a tutor, I'm a content creator, I'm a YouTuber. So, yeah, one thing about me, I'm really, really passionate about data, especially data storytelling, anything that has to do with aesthetic visualization with a little bit of function in there, you will definitely find me. For me, I think one major goal is to actually help a lot of beginners transition seamlessly into the field of data, right? And I do that by like mentoring, speaking a lot, and just being there. Currently, I work as a technical community manager at JADA. Basically, what I do is I manage some of the best data and AI talent you would find in Africa. It's really a pleasure to be here, and I'm really looking forward to having a great time and an amazing conversation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Francis didn't tell us he has a YouTube channel also. There's a YouTube channel with a lot of fabric. Sometimes I get confused and I get lost. So interestingly, I was getting the question, the reason for this session. I was getting that question. There was this question: should I still come into data? Should I still consider a career path in data and all that? Joanne, your hands is actually raised up. You have a question. You can just unmute quickly and just say what you want to say before I continue.
Okay, yeah, good evening, okay, first, good evening, everyone. Thank you for the meeting. I just wanted to point out, I'm not part of your review hub. I don't know, but I don't have access to the chat. That's what I noticed. So I don't know if there's a way it can be made available. Yes, I saw the post on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. I'll make sure you're involved. I'll get you involved. Okay, so the question I've been getting, should I still continue? Should I should I consider the data parts of career path? I was getting confused at a point because it was becoming overwhelming. The questions were overwhelming. Even myself, I was becoming worried. Like, this question is becoming too much. Like, I don't even have the answers to the question because AI is everywhere. A lot of things is being said, and there's a lot of misconceptions also about AI and what it does and what it's supposed to do. If it's going to take my job as a data analyst, thank God, I'm still a pharmacist. So if I don't have job as a data analyst, I'll go to our community pharmacy and continue. But that's actually the goal. We just want some clarifications. And one of the reasons I actually picked this guest to come for this one, if you look at Francis' profile, he will tell you now Francis is into data and into AI. So he knows a little bit, he knows everything. So he can actually tell you if you should continue your career or not. Tina community lead, she manage data analysts, Power BI developers, AI engineers, and all. So she'll be in a better position to tell you, not me, I'm a Power BI developer. That's the only thing I know for now. I don't know any other tool. I don't even know Excel. It's only Power BI. So she'll be in a better position to come on, advise us, tell us what to do, if there's anything we need to do to make sure we get it right. So we have some series of questions we just want to go through, right? About 6 questions or so. So basically one of the question, yeah. So one of the question, any of the judge guests will actually pick the just give us what they think about each of the question. So the first question is actually, with the rise of AI and automation, would you still encourage someone to pursue a career as a data analyst, Power BI developer, Fabric, or data engineer today? That's actually the question. Would you actually encourage someone to still pick that career path? That would be Francis. You can actually go first.
You are not a gentleman. I was expecting the lady to go
Oh,
first.
no, no. The lady is special. You know, special
Don't
people.
don't do that. Don't do that, Francis, please.
Yeah, all right. Good evening once again, everyone. So the question is, with the rise of AI and automation, will you encourage someone to pursue a career as a data analyst and Power BI? No, don't pursue it. You can go to the farm. That's on a very lighter note, right? Yes, I would advise by every ounce of flesh in me that you should pursue a career as a data professional, either as a data analyst, as a data engineer, or as AI developer, or what have you. And this is why. Now, what you are going to achieve as a data analyst, let's say 3, 4 years ago, before AI, is probably, let's say, one. And then with AI, it increases your productivity. Now you can move from point zero to 100, even 1,000, as the case may be, with AI. So why not? So imagine you are supposed to be paid for a productivity of 10%, and you have AI at your disposal. So that means you are going to be paid for the productivity of 100 in a very short time. So why shouldn't I pursue a career? So that is why you should pursue a career, even with the AI automation that you have all over the place. I think that's the perspective I want to come from, because now with productivity comes more money. Without productivity, no money. So, and depends on how you're able to actually strategically position yourself for that productivity, then you are going to make more money. Because at the end of the day, forget all this big English of question that has been set aside. The whole point is that will I still make money pursuing being a data professional, really? So thank you.
Hmm. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think that is actually clear. So you are still encouraging us to pursue this career in AI and being a data analyst, Power BI developer, and whatever you have out there. And the goal now is, well, basically, is for us to leverage AI to increase our productivity. Increased productivity is actually more money for us also. Thank you very much. Yes, to Tina now. What do you think? Would you still tell us to continue?
I'll just write up on what Francis have said, right? For me, I think there's no better time, in fact, to start than now. Maybe the best time to even start was yesterday. And the reason is because, like, it's here to stay. When the internet came, right, we didn't think it was going to be this huge, or I'm sure people those days didn't think that was going to be this massive. Like, people will start, having connections online and all those things. And I think for now, AI is still even scratching the surface. right? There's a lot of things that AI will help us as data analysts, data engineers do in the coming future. And I think now is the time for everyone to even actually pursue a career in this field, because what is going to help us do in the long run, we're seeing a lot of automation tools, AI agents, co-pilots, and the likes of that. So it's just going to augment whatever we are doing and not necessarily take away the feel of us being data analysts or Power BI developer. I think, yeah, I'm just going to stop there.
Wow, thank you very much. I think it's actually really clear. It's clear, and yes, the best time to start now was probably yesterday. So it's still open if you want to start. There are several ways, several things you can actually do. You can actually start from somewhere. Now, I actually think a lot of things are actually in place now. If you actually want to pursue a career in any of the data field, a lot of things are actually in place, and it's more structured now compared to probably when I decided to start, and there were a lot of noise and I was still confused. But now a lot of things are structured. There are communities you can actually just join and you get everything you need. So thank you very much. That's pretty clear. So the next question would be, okay, yes, you've actually okayed us still pursuing a career in any of the data field. So what mindset and strategy, skill set does someone need in this modern era to successfully build and sustain a career? Because when I started the I want to use myself as example. When I started, the mindset I had wasn't really to just go chase money. I actually found data analysis really interesting. And yes, the strategy I adopted then was, I'm very sure it's going to be different from the strategy we probably will be adopting now, because then I had to quit my job for about 3 months. I won't advise anybody to quit their job, but I had to quit my job for about 3 months, just set my focus, different strategy, and I decided on what I want for myself and what I wanted to do. So, Tina, I want you to actually just tell us what this would take if, yeah, you okayed it already. So, what mindset and strategy and skill set would you encourage us to take?
I think the most important of them all is actually being a continuous learner. I think when Fabric came out, right? I remember
Yeah.
seeing like people who had been in the field for years. I mean, experienced engineers like had to, pick up Fabric as a tool just to learn how Fabric actually works, right? If these people were very, very like, I don't care. I don't want. I've learned everything that has to do with data. I don't need to learn again. And they were not continuous learners. Like they would not. They would miss out on that particular skill. So number one thing is being a like you have to actually be a continuous learner for you to actually stay relevant in this field. And another thing is for you to embrace AI. I see a lot of people being resistant about AI. They tell you that, oh, it would help me, like I won't be able to think properly again. I won't be able to think properly. Instead of you being resistant to AI, I think you should actually learn to collaborate with AI, right? Let it be something that you embrace to help you actually do the work. That's something that's very, very important. One other skill or thing that I think people need to do to stay relevant is to become problem solvers. Nowadays you can just go ahead as a BI developer or anything. You can go ahead, pick any data set, put it into chat GPT. It will even generate problems for you, right? That you are going to even solve with that data and everything. But you as a person, you should be able to look at a business to say, this is where a business is actually suffering. This is the problem that this business is suffering. How then can I use their data to actually solve this problem for them? So being a problem solver is very important. Gone are those days when we start fighting. Oh, I think Power BI is better than Tableau. Tableau is better than this thing. Excel is better than Google Sheets. All those random tool conversation. It's now more about like, what problem can I actually solve in this particular space? What problem can I actually solve in this particular space? Another thing I think I want to just highlight before I wrap up is being is something I've actually embraced in my own career, right? Following a T-shaped way of learning. What do I mean? In the sense that if in the data space now, I know everything, right? I have learned like Excel, SQL, Power BI, Python, I've dabbled into all these parts. But something I decided to do was just stay on one particular tool and just deep dive. What do I mean? Like, I've just discovered that, okay, I like visualizations a lot. Why not stay on Power BI and just learn the in-depth of Power BI and everything? So I think it's another thing that would actually help people stay relevant in the field. I'm just going to stop here for now.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's actually really clear. As we're going on, if you actually have any questions, just indicate by a raise of hand. I'll just call you, then you unmute yourself and actually go ahead to ask your question. Yeah, Francis, over to you.
All right, thank you. So the strategy really for me is have this mindset that nothing is complex. Now, this is something I'm working with for this year myself, right? Nothing is complex. And that stems from the fact that I am reading some things now, and then I know that this is not the first time I'm reading them. Then I realized that, okay, what was happening with my head then that I didn't get it? Now, when I said nothing is complex, that means that with enough consistency, enough repetition, then you're going to get it at the end of the day. One of the things that you need to do when you are learning any of these things is that you need that consistency. And consistency really is as simple and as it sounds, and it's also as difficult as it sounds. And when we talk about consistency, people think that, oh, every day you are doing 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours of learning. No, that's not what consistency is. Consistency is as simple as, okay, even a mere LinkedIn post from somebody in data space is consistency. And I break that down by saying that you are learning something about whatever space or whatever niche you are in, even if it's for 5 minutes every day. On some days, you have energy for 5 minutes. On some days, you have energy for 30 minutes. But let no day pass without you being consistent and learning something about it. Because that way, you actually gain a lot. And then you need to divide your learning into two. There is active learning and there is passive learning. You can just read a blog, you can just see somebody's status, you can just see an opinion, you can just bookmark a page or something. That way, you are able to stay consistent. And celebrating even 5 minutes of learning or 5 minutes of learning can actually change your perspective. Or just even a sentence coming from someone in the industry can just actually change your perspective. So nothing is too complex for you. With consistency and repetition, then you get to understand it more. And another thing you need to have as a skill set is being inquisitive. You need to have this question asking mindset, right? You need to ask questions a lot. Like, okay, you may even know something, right? You may use your ChatGPT, your Claude, or whatever AI tool you are using, and then you can still ask questions. And thankfully, nobody is looking at you. It's just you and your AI. No matter how foolish or how stupid your question is, you can ask it. So you need that inquisitive mind to even know what it is. And also, what you really need is, I think Tina already touched on that, that's you being able to deliver value, right? It's not just about the fancy dashboard or whatnot. What matter is the value you are going to be delivering for the business. So if whatever you are doing is not valuable, I think that will not make sense. For example, I saw one of Tina's tweets, I think last week, where she mentioned that, okay, you can just prompt ChatGPT that what problem are people facing in this type of business. And I saw somebody did it, right? And that sort of makes sense because, okay, that's value. Just that mere tweet that has set so many people on track to get some projects done. And that's it. I remember then when I was doing when I just started also, some of the things I used to do is that I'll pick businesses, I'll design a Power BI report, put their color branding and everything, and then the thing is just going to blow up. So it's not just about, oh, you are doing dashboard. Everybody has done a superstore dashboard. I don't want to see that. You can as well just copy it and change the color and just tweak the insights here and there. Do you understand? But okay, you can imagine somebody just go up there and say that, okay, what problem could OPay be facing? What problem could Money Point be facing? What problem could Moonshot be facing? Or any business at all. So then that way you have this delivering value for the business kind of mindset in your journey. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think actually we've actually covered question 2 and 3 with everything we've said so far, and this is actually really interesting. And just to chip in, um, about looking for a problem, and trying to provide solution to the problem. One of the reports I created one time ago, in fact, I create reports a lot. Sometimes the thing is fun for fun, but not really for fun. One of the report I created, which I actually still sold because somebody bought the report eventually. I was basically just going through. I don't know what happened that very day. I think I wanted to order something using what is it called, Chowdeck, and I ordered and I don't know what happened. The whole process just went through. Then it went to the part where the dispatch rider was supposed to pick up. Then he cancelled. Another one picked up. Then he cancelled. Another one picked up. Then he cancelled. And I'm like, okay, I was just sitting at the office and I was like, I'm supposed to receive this order. They told me it's going to be ready in the next 30 minutes or so. Now this dispatch rider cancelled. Another picked, cancelled. Something is wrong. I basically just went to ChatGPT and cooked up a data about the whole process. I just took a screenshot of that other process, gave it to ChatGPT, cooked up some data, and just my focus was delay. So what were they supposed to do? Now, these are the kind of delays. You're having a lot of delays. The delay is not coming from the preparation in the real sense, it's coming from the delivery, which simply means they have to improve their delivery efficiency and all that. So it's merely looking at some of the tools we use, then identifying there's something definitely wrong here and coming up with more data. It's not even their data. And amazingly, I just posted it on LinkedIn. Somebody saw it and was like, oh, you would want a copy of the report. Of course, it's not going to be for free. So those are one of the ways you can actually make money too. So to continue, um, so one of the question also is how should professionals balance traditional BI skills, which is of course, the tools we normally use before now, which we're very familiar with. Of course, before AI came, they would just tell you learn Excel, Peak became Power BI, and what is it called, Tableau or Looker, SQL or MySQL, then learn a lot of modeling and all that. So how should we balance these tools with the emerging tools like AI Copilot, Fabric, and automation and all? Is there a simple way for us to balance this? Would really love to know that. Tina, you can actually go first.
Okay. So first thing I want to mention, and I like the fact that you said balance, right? Because most times people feel like these emerging tools are there to replace what was there. They are not going
Yeah.
anywhere. The Power BI that you see, the Excel has been there since even time, like people will still tell you that they would prefer to use their Excel than even Power BI, right? So these tools are still there. So I want to really encourage people that you see that foundations, like it is like maybe even 70% more than even your AI copilot, fabric, whatever you're doing will be like the 30% on top of that, like basics that you have, those foundation that you have before. Those are like the important. Most of the things you will do in fabric, you write SQL there, right? You write your Python code there. You still do most of those things that you used to do traditionally inside your fabric there, right? Most of the things we did in Excel, like doing visualization, we do it in Power BI. So no matter what, regardless of that, you still need those foundation. Like it is very, very, very important. The next thing, just like I mentioned earlier, embrace those new trends. Don't see it as something coming to replace your job or whatever you think that it's trying to do, right? You have to actually learn to embrace those parts. Automation is very important in this part of our, we've seen people, even nowadays people don't like to even build reports one, two, three times. Like if you work in a proper organization, what you see is you just build one project and you are there, like that report is just there refreshing all the time. Like right, maybe just somebody just needs to go and click on one button. Sometimes the refresh is even scheduled, right? Those are some of the things. So it's very, very important that we learn to balance that foundation that we knew before the new tools, these new shiny tools. Learn how to balance it with the new ones like your Copilot, Fabric, everything. Learn how to merge both of them together, because I'm telling you for a fact that regardless of the fact that these ones are new shiny tools, those ones will not even like go into extinction.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think one of the key things I took from what you said now is um, the old tools are there. You must, yeah, which is really compulsory. You must know those tools before you even go ahead to start using AI tools. Because I'm trying to think about it. If you don't know the DAX to even write, how would you tell AI to write the DAX for you? And of course, one common issue we have now is you can tell AI to write a DAX for you and you write a very long DAX. Meanwhile, you just needed two, three
One
lines
line.
to actually to do that, which is quite interesting, which means you must know what you want to do before you even go ahead to leverage the AI. Thank you very much. Francis, I don't know what you think.
Okay, for me, I don't even think there is a balance here, right? The main
Okay.
thing are still the traditional tool. Now, think about it this way. You have your Power BI. What do you want to do with the Copilot without the Power BI? What do you want to do with your SQL without the Power BI? Okay, you want to use AI to write your SQL script, your Python script. Without the Python, where is the AI going to write it? So there is not even a balance. The first thing first is just those foundational tools. And I don't, why are we even calling them old tools? They are not old. They are here to stay forever. Like literally forever. Now you talk about Power BI MCP. You see that even from the name, it's Power BI MCP. Remove the Power BI from it, MCP is useless. The same thing with SQL. If you have an agent that can write a SQL script for you without the actual server, without the actual SQL, there is nothing you are querying. They remain as solid as forever. Excel is going to be here since forever. So there is not actually a balance. So the very first thing first, in fact, I'm worried about people that are starting out the first time now because now you want to go and jump onto AI when you've not even learned the very basics. So you need to learn it. If I have my way, if there is a way I can actually isolate anybody that want to start from AI first, go and learn Power BI, get your hands dirty, learn Excel, learn SQL. Don't jump to any AI tool to go and get it. So there is really no balance because without those things, there is no AI. AI is just floating on top of them. They are nothing without the traditional tool, really.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Francis. Because basically, question five was supposed to be for beginners confused about where to start. What learning path or career sequence would you realistically recommend today? And you touched it a bit already. I don't know if you'd just want to say maybe a few things about it because you actually just touched it now and I got it.
Oh, okay. So for a beginner that wants to start, the roadmap still remain the same. Go and learn your Power BI, your Excel, your SQL, and everything that you need to learn. So it is when you learn those things, there is no confusion. Don't be overwhelmed. Like Tina was trying to describe earlier, that you have to follow this T shape. Funnily, I follow the same thing, just that she calls her own T shape. I always say that learn vertically and then horizontal. So which is then eventually is actually a T shape. So you need to first go like this, and then when you get to that top, you now start to open up. And that way it becomes easier for you to actually widen your net and catch whatever skill you need to learn. So if you need to imagine somebody that is just starting out, you are yet to perfect your SQL, you are yet to perfect your Power BI, you are yet to perfect your Excel, and then you are trying to do MCP. That means you are trying to build something that is going to collapse. So the foundation still remains the same, the roadmap still remains the same. Power BI, SQL, and Excel, they are as valid as since Jesus Christ has been around.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, Tina, I don't know if you have anything to say for our beginners who want to start. There's a
Actually, I
learning
think
path.
Francis has done a very like great justice. In fact, Francis is so intelligent. Please permit me to say that because myself, I'm here as a speaker, but I've actually been learning a lot as well. So you see that foundation is very, very important. You cannot even like, and that's why we always shout roadmap, roadmap, roadmap. Because right now, like there's information overload. I can go to even myself. I have like one long list of roadmap. If you go to my pin tweet on Twitter, like you can see okay, let me even use the example of right now that everybody's even teaching, right? You go online, you're saying, come and learn Excel, come and learn SQL, come and learn Power BI, do you get? So you're confused. You don't even know, come and learn data analysis. You don't even know, right? But there's that foundation that we already know that you have to learn Excel, you have to learn Power BI, you have to learn SQL. Like, it's not give or take. Those ones are there that you must learn it before you decide that you want to start transition. So me, I'll just tell everybody, something I like to tell everybody, have your own roadmap to say this is exactly what I want to learn. And when I tell people about roadmap, I don't like you to Like roadmap is not, I want to learn Excel, I want to learn Power BI, I want to learn Excel. This is how long I'm going to learn Excel. This is where I'm going to learn Excel from. That is my roadmap. It makes you stay focused and consistent. If you decide that now that you're going to learn Excel on data camp, even if you come online and you are seeing somebody to say, I see this Excel course, now in the rain, no, now the hot cake in town, you will not be distracted because you already have a roadmap and a plan in your mind to say, this is where I want to learn Excel from, and this is how long I'm going to learn Excel. And this is the reason why many beginners just stay in that loop of tutorial where they kept like you've learned Excel here, you go again, they say, this is the place you learn Excel here, you learn. So those ones are just like the basics. You cannot, it's not give or take. You just have to learn all of those things. So having a foundation is, I am knowing that foundation is very, very important.
Yeah, I think I want to add to that. So, we have been narrowing down to Excel, SQL, and Power BI, right? Now, you can see that nobody is talking about Tableau, nobody is talking about Looker, nobody is talking about one funny BI tool that is not in this market. You don't want to learn what is not in this market, right? So even though there are a lot of tools, yeah, tools that people are using in Europe, tools that people are using in America, is not what we are using in this climate. And as long as you are in this climb, you are looking for a job in this climb, you want to learn the tools that are relevant to this climb. You don't want to go and learn AWS Quick Site. There is nobody using AWS Quick Site, at least in my own experience in this part of the world. So learn tools that are actually available in your environment, in your market. So for example, now imagine you are trying to open a Amala shop in the US. You know that there is no market really there. But if you come to Lagos, go to Ibadan, you know that's what they eat really. So you want to have a skill that is actually marketable in your own environment. That's why we have been mentioning just those specific tools. But if you are in another environment where other tools are what is needed, by all means, please forge that roadmap for yourself and go ahead with it.
Thank you very
Sorry,
much.
let me just add something, right? A quick
Sure.
tip, a quick tip for anyone. If you're looking for, depending on the environment you're in, a quick tip that will be helpful is you can go and look at job applications, right? Like data analyst rules. What are the BI tools that they are looking out for? Like if you are looking for a data, that's if you're looking for a data analyst role, for example. But if you're looking for a Power BI developer role, you already know that Power BI is where you're focused. So just go through those job ads and look at the tools that they are requesting for. It will help even shape your roadmap and some of the things to actually focus on.
Wow. Thank you very much. What of people like if you have plans to go somewhere and the tools they are using there is different? Can I start learning it while I'm in Nigeria here with the
All of us are
because
stuck here. I don't know what you're
because
saying, but then
no, there's one guy that sent me there was one time he sent me a link to go and learn how to use QLink that it's that I'm going to be on my own, like I'm going to be unique, like it's not common. I was like, okay, ah, that's why I'm
see,
just thinking about it.
let me tell you something. Even in my workplace, because of the fact that like you pick any tool, if you work in like where I work, you will pick any tool. In fact, some of the BI tools, like I got to hear of them for the very first time, right? And that's because we work for like European companies, and sometimes they'll just like a client can just come and tell you that, oh, this is what for the very first time I heard of Steep. I don't know what Steep is, but I heard of Steep, right? That this is the tool that they want you to use for them and everything. So you have to pick up all those tools. So the idea, or in the long run, it still depends, like Francis said, it's still dependent on what markets you are targeting. That will determine the tools. But something I've realized is regardless of what BI tool you pick, when you want to pick another one, it's easier because you already know the foundation of visualization. You already know the foundation of, oh, when I want to do this kind of visual, this is the kind of chart I'm going to pick. So it becomes easier to pick whatever visualization tool you want to pick. So it all boils down to whatever market you're targeting.
Yeah. That's actually true because if you have hands-on a particular tool already, going to the next tool, whatever tool that is, at least you have an idea. Because I was thinking back and I was like, I remember doing data modeling in Excel. So as at when I was supposed to go to either Tableau or Power BI, data modeling was still mentioned again, and Eventually, when I started learning SQL, data modeling was still mentioned. So, of course, it's very, very important. That foundation becomes really, really important. Thank you very much. We're almost coming to the end. And for the last questions, actually, for this one, yeah, what common mistakes do you see data professionals making that slow down their growth and make them replaceable? So, before I'll tell any of our guests to jump in on this final question, let me just add my own 2 cents. So, practically speaking, I think one of the mistakes, I didn't really make that mistake, but one of the mistakes people make is you trying to measure your growth with someone else's growth, right? You want to measure your growth with someone else's growth. That's one of the mistake you make yourself because we are all moving at different pace. That's one thing I came to realize. We're all moving at different pace, moving at different time. That it happened for this person this particular way doesn't necessarily to happen for you that particular way. And you have to be very intentional and personal about yourself. And then of course, you decide that you want this, and you have to come out of your shell also. And one final thing is, there are people that have done this already, and it's working, it's successful. They've done it. You don't even need to go elsewhere. One thing I've learned is I remember when I was yeah, one of the mistakes I made was I was really confused. I didn't even know what I wanted to do in the tech space. At first, I was learning how to I wanted to call myself a web developer. I was learning C sharp, SQL. In fact, I still can write some C sharp codes till now, but I didn't even know what I wanted to do with it. Eventually, I wanted to dive into cybersecurity because one bank wanted to give me a job. Then I didn't even know anything about cybersecurity. From there, I eventually ended up with, of course, Power BI, and I loved it. So finding your focus is very important at that early stage. If you just find your focus, this is what I want, and following that path. And like I said, there are people already. One of my mentors then used to say, you have to be a very good copycat. Now there are people already doing these things and they are successful, right? I can look at Tina's pathway. I know Tina is always putting out content there. Everything is there. What she's doing is there. So I can go and copy her templates. And honestly, if you copy the template very well, you will succeed. It may not be the same timing, but eventually you will succeed. Francis' template is there. You can eventually see what he's doing, right? Everything is doing and all that. You can copy it and it still will work. That same process will work, right? Started with, oh, I want to participate in. I'm not promoting any data challenge, but I'm just telling you it's a pathway. It worked for Francis. I copied it. It worked. I know someone else that copied it. It also worked, and it's still working. Because one of the phobias we used to have then was, are you good enough in this part of the world you are? Because I don't know, you're looking at yourself and looking at other persons in other parts of the world. And one question I kept asking myself, was I good enough? That was the reason I actually started participating in data challenges. And I discovered that what I was doing wasn't so different from what people were doing. And these people are from different countries, different part of the world. So I'm not missing out on anything. I'm actually really good at what I do. So that's just my own little contribution. Before I would ask Francis, what common mistake do you see data professionals making that slow their growth or make them replaceable?
Thank you. So yeah, I think some of the mistakes we already spoke about them, which is not having a roadmap. I think Tina talked about that extensively. And when you don't have a roadmap, you just find out that you are everywhere, you are all over the place, and then you want to learn everything. That end up wasting so much of your time. So not having a roadmap is a very big thing. So if I come up with my own course now, learn Excel in 15 minutes, and then Tina comes tomorrow and said, learn Excel in 30 seconds. Then you are going to drop my own and then jump on Tina's. So at the end of the day, you realize that you're not getting anything. So they are not the problem. Even though the people that I want to teach Excel in 30 seconds, they are problem. They are not the problem, but you jumping from point A to point B is actually the problem. And then another thing is that people don't follow the T shape that we already talked about, right? You want to learn Python, you want to learn this. And then there is this thing I always find funny with people, really, is that people like to start from the difficult parts. Maybe it makes people feel good. I don't understand. You want to start and then you start from Python, you go and start from somebody wants to start data and then you start from fabric. Why do you like do you there is no best in software really. Why don't you start from the easier part? So you need to start from where you know you can shine. It does not matter if you like, you can know fabric. If it's Power BI I want, like he was saying, he knows how I started. We started almost at the same time, right? And I just told everybody, you know what, whatever anybody is doing, I'm not interested. I just want to do Power BI. That was why I was saying that you just want to copy this thing. So you don't want to make a mistake where you are all over the place. You just want to have a roadmap you are working with. You are not everywhere, and then you have this structured way of learning. And before you know it, in 6 months, I promise you, you are where you want to be.
Thank you very much, Francis. Thank you. Roadmap. Very important. Yeah, Tina, what do you think, please?
I think I'm just going to drive more on some of the points you made. You see, this thing, it's so easy now, right? To make it as I'm not going to say like to make it as a data analyst, right? Because the struggles are still there, like regardless of the fact that there are a lot of job opportunities and everything. But you see this thing of copying people's framework or copying what people have done. Like people don't know how powerful and like how like that's literally a secret because personally for me, I copied someone's framework and that's how like it worked for me. I'm sure everybody know who Jessica is, right? Jessica is somebody I really looked up to then, and I read her story front down to the courses she took, the projects she took, like so many things, how she just navigated her journey, and that is what I copied, like framework for frame, everything that she literally, I was just like copying and implementing. And basically, it worked for me. She landed her own like data analyst role in like 7 months when she started. For me, it was 4 months because what? I already copied somebody that worked the part. I'll give you like this is just a literal secret. If I want to think of you now, I'll think of you as somebody who does like data challenges. You just come if I'm looking for somebody that is a BI person that's very good with BI projects and data challenges. You literally come to my mind. Same thing with Francis. When I think of people that first jumped on, like I tell people that Francis is one of the person that first jumped on that fabric wave when it came to like Africa, Nigeria, like that. It was one of those persons. Microsoft released this their AI agents courses and like it was a big deal. And I was telling somebody that this can be your thing too. Like one thing I've realized is one of the persons that will ride on the wave first. Like they in the long run, you will pay like you'll see the results, right? So copying someone's framework is actually a very, very big deal. You should not underestimate how powerful that thing is. You might ask me how, even me, I don't know how, but I just know that I look at some of the things you've done and I try to do that thing myself, right? That is one thing. Another thing that I see people do right now that I think might be slowing down their journey is being too how do I call it, too dependent and not like problem solvers. And that's why anytime I tell people to work on projects, I always tell them that please actually work on problem solving projects, because when you work on problem solving, it's different than I will remember somebody that worked on a project that problem solved than somebody who used Power BI or Excel to work on a particular project, because everybody is using that same tool. What differentiates you from the person who is actually using a tool that that's actually solving a problem, right? You want to make sure that you are actually different, like you are very, very different from the crowd. Another thing that's very important is I think then it was very popular. Now I don't see a lot of people doing that, which is documenting your work. I remember then when we build a project or we built on, you will see people write long articles on Medium of what this project is about. What now you don't see people just post dashboards and they just want to paste dashboard. Then it doesn't even have to be about like the medium. Even LinkedIn, you see a long LinkedIn post to tell you that, oh, this industry is facing this problem. How do I solve this problem for this industry? But now you don't see that. You just see somebody, I built dashboard, come and like and follow. That's what people are basically doing right now. So these are things that you would do that would actually slow down most of your reports. Another thing is don't learn in isolation. People don't know how lucky you are. Like there are so many communities right now. Like, people don't know how lucky, like, there are so many communities, so many people you can network with. Most of the people I know today that are even close to me, I knew them basically online, just because of maybe I tweeted something or I posted something, they commented, and we became connect just like that. Today they are referring me for opportunities, right? Don't learn in isolation. No matter what you think that it's little as possible, there's somebody, just like you mentioned earlier, there's somebody that's faced that problem before. No problem is new on the face of the earth. I mean, before ChatGPT, where we used to go to is Stack Overflow, right? You will browse the problem and you will see a lot of people putting that same problem on there. Like, I wonder how we survived those days anyways, but because I can't remember the last time that I've got to Stack Overflow. It's me and ChatGPT right now. But these are the things that we need to embrace now, so that we don't slow down our growth, and we're still relevant in these days of AI.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I just remembered when you mentioned Stack Overflow, and when you start checking and you start looking for the one that has been marked good, so you can try it, then damn. But it was quite interesting though. It was quite interesting. Now I feel, I don't know. Let me not say what I want to say. I feel just copying and okay, yeah, you tell ChatGPT to do everything he wants to do for you, but you still need to check and all that, which is quite interesting and really, really interesting. I really appreciate um our guests so far. They've done justice to all the questions we have. So now I'll just give room for anyone that wants to ask any question. You'd go ahead and ask your question. Then, of course, let's see if we can provide answers to the question. I'll begin with Oluwa Tomisi. I hope I didn't murder your name though. You can actually unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Francis. Good evening, Tina. It's nice to be on this call and to hear you share your experience and your thoughts on all those questions asked. So I'd just like to pick your brains about something. All right. So during the week, I was having a conversation with my HOD, who practically is not into the data space, but of course, we work with data. And then we were having a conversation about Fabric and Power BI. And he was of the opinion that he does not believe in Power BI. That with Power BI, because you can actually massage the data to say whatever you want it to say. But with Fabric, because it's cloud-based, you really cannot do that with Fabric. I was trying to educate him. I was trying to make him understand that Power BI and Fabric, they are almost the same thing. But the man was just not cutting it. So I want to pick your brain. How do you explain, or how do you help somebody like that to get to understand the connection between Fabric and Power BI, and then why you cannot isolate one from the other? Because now, in his mind, in the orchestrating data solutions within the department for the organization, is focusing more on Fabric. Everything now is Fabric, 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 and with little or no regard, as it were, to those of us that are Power BI developers within the team. So how do you reconcile that, and how do you if you are in my situation, what will you do?
Okay, let me take that because I find that very interesting. And as you are speaking, I actually came up with something very naughty. Really. So if I get your question, he is trying to say that because Fabric is a SaaS solution, cloud-based, you cannot alter it. Well, Power BI desktop, you can actually tweak it and bend it to your own way, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So my naughty solution to that is that I'll probably just do an incremental load. Instead of incremental load, I'll just do a full load twice without setting up incremental load or something. Then I have duplicate. Now, for this person, I just think that he lacks the basic understanding of what Fabric is and what Power BI is. I mean, you are a developer, either a Fabric developer or a Power BI developer. As long as there is human in the mix, that means anything can be altered. I can as well just write a script that will just duplicate the entire thing or inflate the numbers. So you are trying to create a report from, let's say, a Fabric lake house, and then you believe that it cannot be altered. What populates your Fabric lake house is either a script, a pipeline, or whatever, which, if it's not properly configured, can actually put you in a big mess. So imagine you have a profit and loss report you are doing, and then you you probably just load the pipeline for the loss side of things twice, and then for the profit side you do it once, and then the company is in negative, right? I think what you can do may not necessarily be on production sort of work, is to make sure the person understand that it can be altered as well. Because really, whatever you are building on Fabric, on any cloud solution, feed on something, and if it's not properly configured, end up being a total mess or a total nightmare, as the case may be. So that's how I think you can approach that kind of person. While we are actually trying to uh, do Fabric advocacy, some people are saying they don't want Fabric. They are saying Microsoft is trying to show Fabric down their case. Now we have another problem, thinking that okay, Fabric is that source of incorruptible source of truth. Really, it's actually very corruptible. Imagine, I think just yesterday I was trying to work on a pipeline. I wanted to make sure that the data is being moved from Fabric Lakehouse into my Azure. I had a very unique use case, and then I forgot to change data type from text to a package data format, and then the data just load into a text, and then the whole thing was just distorted. The only thing is that I forgot to click and change data type from text to a package data file, and then I have another mess to actually work with. So it is not a incorruptible source of truth. As long as humans are in the mix, which we are very much corruptible, it then means that whatever tool that we have is equally corruptible. Thank you.
I think I'm just going to add to that that it's actually very important that we educate people that like Microsoft and Fabric and Power BI are not too deep, because I think that's like a major problem I actually see. People feel like maybe Fabric has come to take away the position of Power BI or this thing. Like it's actually basically one product, because like Power BI is just a layer of whatever Fabric is, right? It's the visualization and reporting layer of Fabric. So I think it's very important that will actually help them understand that, see, this thing you are thinking is better than this actually tool. It's actually both of them in one. This one is just a part of this particular one. So I think that would actually also help people understand that like Power BI is not evil in the long run. I don't like the way people are treating Power BI. People did the same thing too when Power BI was part of Power Platform. Now Power BI is part of Fabric. People are just, doing it anyhow. Please tell them Power BI is not the problem. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Francis will tell you. Somebody said something some time ago that Power BI is a visualization tool, and then he said something like we're not supposed to even do much data load. I can't remember much data load into Power BI and all that. That ideally we're supposed to get our data through a pipeline, connect to Power BI, and create your report and all that. So maybe Tommy said you guys should look at it from that perspective, right? Now you have Fabric that you can leverage to get a lot of data connectors and create a lot of pipelines, connect to Power BI and present your insight. Because the goal is, believe it or not, Francis can be building all the pipelines he's building. If we don't create the reports from that pipeline, nobody will know what's happening there. If you like load 2 million rows of data, If you like
You
the
know
profit,
this.
Power BI is still my first love. You know that. I'm
if you
forever
like,
my
Okay,
love.
please let me tell them.
if you like load 2 million rows of data, let the pipeline be refreshing and doing everything. How much is the profit? How much is the loss? Let me see. You know that bar? Let me see the profits. Let me see the loss. Then do that bar like this. Let me see the percentage. What's the difference and all that. So that's basically it, right? Our next question will be coming from Joanne Chooks. Joanne, you can actually unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone, once again. Let me start by thanking Francis and Tina for talking about the points of comparison. Okay, I think okay mentioned it because personally, I think I started my data journey the same time as Tina under Ingressive for Good. But apparently she has gone further than myself. So if I compare myself with her, maybe I went into depression. So I think that's a very valid point. I also met her during one of our tech programs, so I spoke with her. So that's so. But personally, I wanted to ask this. Okay, personally, based on how far I've been going and the things I've been doing, I actually told myself this year I'm looking at reading more of data books because there are some things I've been seeing online beyond survey into because at the point I wanted to learn Python, but I thought to myself, the three that I know, is it not better I build depth in them, SQL, Power BI, and Excel instead of looking for Python because like this guy on LinkedIn, the guy does not do any other thing apart from Power BI. I can't remember his name now, but that's what he built his academy on. So I told myself that it's better I build depth in this tree. So I'm thinking I'm starting to read data books. Is there that thing I can add to it? But you think that's enough to build that depth I'm looking at?
Yeah, I think reading data books is the way to go, right? For example, there is these books on DAX alone. I call it the Bible of DAX. That's a definitive guide for DAX. So it's a good way to go. There's another book on data modeling. So reading books, of course, you can never go wrong with books. And then also you can take advanced courses. I think after doing Power BI for about 2 years, I remember I still had to go and take another course on advanced DAX, just that I want to know DAX to the point that is good. And when you get this depth, you realize that if you have to move away from Power BI, it becomes easier. I tell anybody that gets to listen that the foundation for data engineering for anybody that is a Power BI developer is actually your data modeling. If you wake me up from my sleep, I can teach Power BI modeling. But you will get tired as a student, really. So fitness particular niche is how to actually get your depth. So there are courses that focus on particular niche. For example, I know somebody that the only thing he specializes on is just Power Query and code. So you can just pick it stage by stage in your Power BI development. For example, okay, let's say I want to go in depth on just Power Query. There are books on Power Query, there are playlists on Power Query you find on YouTube. So books, you can never miss your way with books, and then you can take advanced courses. For example, there is Power BI for financial, for finance people and all of that. There is Power BI for healthcare and all of that. So book is not wrong, and of course you can get advanced courses as well. And then when you are now reading books, you now realize that you actually slow down and actually absorb those concepts more and make you think about it in a way that it has more value into your work as you proceed.
I think Francis already answered the question, right? Like, if as you first thing first, it's very very important to tell yourself, like, be honest with yourself that yes, you're going to read these books because some of these books are not like baby books where you see one page or two, like some of the books Francis mentioned now. I know those books, and I'll tell you for a fact that even myself, like that you look at me and feel like maybe I'm an expert. I've not been able to go through the entire this thing. Something you might want to also consider is looking at, like, for me now, anytime I want to tell somebody to learn Power BI or to this thing, I always try to categorize it into like the skills that you need, which is what Francis sort of like mentioned, right? First of all, like if you are doing Power BI for analysis now, you already know that number one thing, you need to learn the data cleaning side. That is where you focus on your Power Query, your M codes, and all of that. The next part, you need to focus on your data modeling too. You need to be an expert at that part, right? Data modeling. That is where you start looking at all those, facts and dimension tables, star schemas, and the likes of that. You understand what that is talking about, then you move into data visualization. I think people are basically still scratching the surface of visualization. There's a lot that has to do with visualization in Power BI. We just basically think it's maybe putting those charts, and I like the fact that so many people are going above and beyond now to actually put in a lot of work when it comes to bookmarks, buttons, multiple pages, tooltips, all of that to make dashboards visualization look very, very rich, right? Then you talk about the analysis side of things. Before you now start talking about the admin side of things, which you would find maybe little or no resources safe online. Those are parts that I think that's like one of the major parts that we don't find. Those ones I always tell people that maybe the reason is because that one you have to learn it on the job, or when you're actually practicalizing, that is when you become an expert at the admin side of things when it comes to your Power BI or your visualization or whatever. Then you now have to start thinking of the business side of things, and that's where you mentioned Power BI for healthcare, Power BI for finance, all those things. That's where it says. But books can be really helpful, but you have to be very, very strategic also about it, so that you are not jumping into this book to this book. You have a reason why you want to read a certain book, or why you are basically focusing on that particular book. But trust me, like you are actually on a very, very great and fantastic path. Like it's a good thing that you've decided to actually toe this line.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate. I think the last question will be coming from Charles. Charles, you can actually unmute yourself. You can actually unmute yourself and ask your question, Charles.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Charles. We can hear you.
Oh, okay, okay. So I really want to appreciate everyone for the contributions. It has really been helpful and quite eye-opening. So my challenge has been this anyway. I think I've done a lot with data analysis and all that, but my challenge has been with the area of job market, the job market. You get, so I've been applying for a while. I'm not actually desperate. Let me put it that way, because for me, basically, it has to do with transitioning from what I'm doing currently to the data space. And it's looking as if for me, the job hunting is, so to say, looking more stressful and overwhelming for me than the actual learning process. I don't know if there's an insight you um, the, the team can throw with regards to that, because it's just something else. So thank you very much. That's just what I wanted.
I think when it comes to job hunting, right? Like, in fact, I don't want to say the market is saturated, because I'm of the opinion that no market is saturated, actually. Like, one person can come and do something, even if like somebody has been there for a long time and still excel at such part, right? The thing is this, right? We're in a market right now that you are competing with. Let me put it like this. When somebody puts out a job ad, when there's a job ad in an organization, you're competing with the fact that me in that organization, I already have a referral, say somebody that I can vouch for externally, right? To tell the hiring manager internally to say, oh, I know this person. This person is a data analyst. I think we should employ. So there are already persons that are getting that or how do I put it? They're already getting that preference before even you, that your own CV is just flying on the job portal, right? That is number one problem. And that's why I tell people to position themselves in a way where they become the hunted. What do I mean, right? Like you become you are the recruiter starts looking for you instead of you actually looking for them. And you can achieve this in like so many ways, like so many ways. And I think one of the most easiest, right? For me, I personally, I think that is easiest, because Somebody will tell you that they don't know how to build in public. I'm a big advocate of building in public, but that's not even it. You have like your little communities. Take this particular community for an example. That is one way of actually positioning yourself to be that person for like that, or when there's an opportunity, you are the next person that they are jumping at. If, for example, you belong to, the review up community, and they can see you, they can vouch for your work, maybe time after time after time, they see the work that you put out. Tomorrow, if there's an opportunity, and maybe like Afsa is already very very hooked up with whatever he's doing on, it will just pass it to who is the next person that I can think of. It will pass it to you. The community is so small, right? And that's where people when we say people join community, we think it's just to increase the numbers. No, that's not it. We want to see you active in those communities, so that whenever there's an opportunity, we are invested in your growth. Whenever there's an opportunity, we are referring you for those opportunities immediately. But you see that, oh, there's a job online, you see, you apply for your CV. I will be very honest with you. It is very difficult. I don't think, okay, maybe I've gotten interviews from it, but I don't like maybe opportunities where I had to apply online and then I get called back. Nah, most of the opportunities I've ever gotten since I started my career has been word of mouth. One person knows one person that know one person that know one person. And I think that is why a lot of people right now are even teaching, right? Because they feel like that's like the easiest way. After you have, toiled in that market of looking for jobs, and you're not saying that's one way to actually market your skill and get money in your pockets. Because I mean, it takes a lot of time, effort, even money to actually acquire this particular skill. So what I would tell you, first of all, look at yourself. You have to do a proper analysis. What do I mean by proper analysis? Look at yourself. What skills are they asking for? Am I certain that I have all these skills? Do I have a solid portfolio that today, if I walk up to anybody on this call to say I'm looking for a job, the person will be able to vouch for me to say, oh, this person is actually very very solid, I think we should give this person the job. Your portfolio has to be very very solid standard. Like right now, people are doing, like, they are going over and above to become excellent at what they do. What do I mean? I'm not saying that you should be the one that would design the most aesthetic dashboard, but I mean whatever that is worth doing, doing at all is worth doing well, right? So if you pick your dashboard, or you pick your Power BI or whatever visualization to say you want to create a dashboard or you want to create a project, what are you doing to differentiate yourself from the next person? You want to position yourself to be someone of value, to say, see, while everybody is building dashboard, like maybe analyzing data, me, I can do end to end, where I even pull my own data, maybe from a SQL server. I do this and I do this, and every time you come onto my dashboard, it's refreshing automatically. Something as interesting like that, and you're documenting it properly, can actually expose you to, the target market. But to be very very honest, the fastest way I always tell people to position themselves is be active in your, don't, I'm never telling you build in public now, because some of you will tell you that, I'm an introvert, I don't know how to post on Twitter, I don't know how to post on LinkedIn, I don't. But right now, I'm telling you, like, see, you'd have to shake it off. I like the fact that right now a lot of people in the community say they are becoming creators. We are seeing people start up their own YouTube channel. They are now talking about their journey on TikTok and Instagram, and I love it so much, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure, there's an example I always give: Instagram vendors. If you know Instagram vendors, like sometimes when I'm scrolling through Instagram, I want to run away from that place, because they can make you what you don't even want to buy. You will spend your money, because those people are hawking their markets. Like, so I always tell people, hawk your skill like that. Let people know, if you're an analyst and you know how to use Power BI, let people know that you can use Power BI like that. And one good way, and one of the fastest way that I'll just tell you, is be very very active in your community. Trust me, you think, give yourself 3 to 6 months at tops. Whenever there's an opportunity, Francis can bear me witness, there are always opportunities on the Fabric community, for example, and you just see they're tagging some person's name. Oh, this person will be available, this person. It's because they know those people and they've seen their work. So for me, I'll tell you that that's one of the fastest way to break even in this our own job market, because we are competing against people that they already have that position. Maybe they're already referring their brother or their auntie or their neighbor for those positions. I would, maybe Francis has a different opinion, or Fasa, you can go ahead. But that's my own take.
Yeah, Tina, spot on. I think you've said most of the things I would have said. And I think one key thing I picked from everything she said is that you should rather be the hunted, not the hunter, right? So you need to be the hunted. And I think that's the most important thing. When you are the hunted, then they are the one looking for you. And what I'll just add to it is this. You might want to review how you are applying. You have to be very strategic in how you are applying. Maybe you want to apply to one organization, you probably have connected to their maybe CDO or somebody that is in position of decision. You have interacted before, and then the job opening is just out, and then you can just shoot an email. I mean, LinkedIn is free. The boss that will happen is that the person will leave you on read, and then you move on. I got that. I got a role that way, right? I've been connected with this person. And when I was connecting, that was not even the mindset. I interact, I don't just like and just go up. And then there was an opening in that organization, and I applied and reached out to the person that, okay, I'm putting in an application in your workplace if you could. And also make sure that whatever you are putting in is quality. It's easier for me to actually put someone on my shoulder that I know that the person has actually done quality work. If it's not a quality work that I can vouch for, I'll just tell you yes, I won't say anything about it. I remember that I had someone that was actually trying to get a role, and then I added my mouth, and then the person just tell me straight to the point because the person was going to actually follow it through. And then the person was like, okay, this person I'm actually putting my mouth for is the worst perform in the interview. Do you understand? So you need to even get to the point whereby that you don't disappoint those that are actually having some trust in you. You know, so you need to get to that point in your career. Don't just apply the same resume, the same CV for every work. You need to, it's not one size fits all. You need to tailor whatever you are doing. You need to be very strategic about it. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. Yeah, Peter, okay, before we just take that, right? That'll be the final question for today, then we'll call off the session. So I want to just chip in something, right? I remember we wanted to hire um a data analyst or a Power BI a data analyst in the recent for the organization I worked for. Basically, like you said, applications are sent in. Of course, there's always this word of mouth from different persons within the organization. They see the role and they probably have someone, they call the hiring manager, oh, I have someone that would love to apply for this role. And of course, they apply. But one thing I can tell you, that's one stage. Like Francis also said, if they vouch for you, that means you should be able to do well in the interview for you to be considered. So one thing I learned also, because the hiring manager was actually really was just by my side. He wanted me to just see what he's doing. Now, a lot of people applied, then the HR sent the names to him that okay, you have about 6 to 7 persons for the interview. From the people that applied, I don't know what happened that very day. He was just there and he started scrolling. He started picking some names. He just goes on LinkedIn and start checking. He picks a name, goes on LinkedIn, start checking the person's profile. There was a guy that wasn't supposed to make it to the interview. He checked the guy's profile. So the guy was doing a lot of things. He was teaching Power BI, teaching Excel. He was like, no, I want to interview this guy. That's how the guy's name came from not being called up for the interview at all to being called up for the interview. So like everybody has said, you have to show up. Just show up. There's a lot of competition out there for people to not know what you know how to do. So that's just my own contribution. Yeah, Peterson, you're going to be the last question for today. So you can actually unmute and ask your question.
Thank you very much. Good evening, guys. And I'm sorry for I joined pretty much late, so I've been able to get one or two things from what the guest speakers have said. But yeah, I have a question. As okay, I'm a new I would say like I'm a newcomer into this data analysis of a thing. I work in construction. I'm actually a quantity surveyor. So, but recently I'm developed interest in data analysis. I want to like pivot into data analysis. But all I've done so far is I took a course on Udemy, and it only spoke about data analysis and the visualization aspect. Actually, it's more like a crash course. So, and even I didn't know about this meeting. My wife saw it on a friend's link, and she forwarded it to me, so I started to join. So I feel it's a good place to ask for maybe like guidance or anything. So my actual question now is, do you think taking online courses is sufficient, is okay, or do I need to go extra miles? And for a starter, what course do you would you advise me to focus on or to take? Because I've been hearing about SQL, I've been hearing about Excel. I use Excel often in my current occupation. So, but I've been hearing about so many other applications related to data analysis. So I'm just here to ask for guidance, nothing much, just for guidance. What would you advise that I focus on? And do you think taking online courses is okay, or do I need like a real-time mentor, or if there's I can get access to any maybe like a mentor or anything from this platform, I wouldn't mind. So that's just my question. Thank you so much for entertaining this question.
Okay, maybe I'll go first there because I was trying to give you a pause and see if you process it there. I'll take the question. Now, if online courses are enough or you need a physical class or a mentor per se. Now, one of my major, like when anybody walks up to me to ask me that they want to learn data analytics, one thing I always tell them is, in fact, I always go as far as saying, don't pay for course, go to YouTube first, so that you even get to know if this is something you want to do. Because there's the rave of, I want to join tech, I want to do tech, I want to do tech, and you might not even know what part of tech you want to do. You just say, oh, everybody's doing data analysis. Oh, I know this data analyst. I know it. Okay, let me do data analyst, right? So taking that online course, if it is sufficient, now it depends on you, right? If you're a fast learner, if you pick up things really fast, because somebody like me now, I think most of us actually learned online. We're all self-taught, right? Like most of us are all self-taught. We just pick up a course, maybe it might be paid, it might not be, but basically online courses that we had to take, right? In some cases, some persons would even pay for a boot camp. But I think one of the major key things that helped a lot of us, regardless of the fact that we didn't take courses, was that community factor. Most of us belonged in a community, right? For me, data community was like it for me. Like I was really, really active in there, right? Sharing my story, talking about whatever I was doing, talking about whatever I was learning. And before you know, a few persons picked interest in me and they just wanted to mentor me for free. In fact, they didn't even call themselves my mentor. I started calling them my mentor because there was a lot to learn from those people. I'll tell you for a fact that you will mention, like you can, if you come and meet me now, tell me that, oh, come and mentor me, or you meet maybe Francis to tell you, because he will tell you he does not have the time. But if you have question, come and ask me. I will answer you. And one of the easiest place you can find most of us is in community, because I might not like maybe answer your question when you will send me a private message, but when I see your message in a community, like you're asking for help, I don't know. I'm just like very, very. I want to answer your question, or I want to like just answer this thing. So if online courses are enough, yes, it can be enough. Like at least for a start, for the basics, yes. The answer is yes. There's no yes or no. There's no middle ground. For the basics, for starting out, yes, online courses are enough. But if you want to really go far and go fast, I would advise you learn with a community. What do I mean by learning? Just be a part of a community. Introduce yourself. Tell them that you're a beginner. You just started. You're learning this, and you would appreciate any help you can probably get. In the long run, you can decide to want to take, further your this thing, take other paid courses and all that. I think that's what my own advice will be.
Yeah, that was what on Tina. Really, if people approach me say, "Oh, come and mentor me," I think most of the time it puts me off really, because people will actually tell you that they don't have time and they are not even trying to form, or they are trying to be inaccessible, but because they genuinely do not have time. So yeah, what you can do is what you're already doing. You can buy courses, or you can say that okay, you are trying to start. Okay, can you recommend this course for me? There is Udemy first. There is YouTube. Of course, I started out with YouTube to see that okay, before I even invest my money into this thing, let me check if it's something that I really like. Because of course, YouTube is very free, and even if you know how to use YouTube very well, you can actually end up getting courses that are as good as what you will pay for, right? So yes, you need to just be focused and be determined, and also be consistent with what you are doing. And like Tina said earlier, what you need also is to have a timeline to what you are doing. If you are going to be a data analyst, what I always tell people is that give yourself 4 months, 1 month of Excel, 1 month of Power BI, 1 month of SQL. Then the fourth month, you have projects to show for everything that you are doing. And then by the end of 4 months, you have a portfolio where you are hosting all of your projects. And there is no course, structured course that you're going to take online that you don't have a capstone project that you're supposed to work with. And those capstone projects might just be a starting point for you, give you an idea on how to imagine what project is going to look like. But you can actually fine tune some of these projects. I remember when I started then, I I will just create data sets, managing data sets by myself, and probably put the name of my friend. If you are my friend at that point in time and I have your phone number saved, then you probably find your name as part of my data set that I was working with. So you just have to make it a little bit realistic rather than what everybody is doing. So have that sort of roadmap because we said came late. Have that sort of roadmap and then you follow it through, and that way you end up. And like Tina said, mentors sometimes pick people like, oh, this person is doing great, because really it's easier for me to say that, okay, let me point this person in the right direction, because I've seen that, okay, this person has a lot of potential. And if I just give this person this single line of advice, it can 10x their productivity, it can 10x their growth. So that is how it should be. Because when you try and come from perspective of human mentor, people will say that they don't have time. I'm sure that you probably have even messaged some people and then they told you that okay, they don't have time. Really, they don't have time. And then sometimes people that you're asking to mentor you might not even be qualified to mentor you, really. So it's better that you even get some of these resources, free, paid, and whatnot. Or best ask for recommendation from communities. And that will be all from me. Thank you.
All right,
Okay, yeah.
thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Francis. Yeah, you can also check Coursera, right? I think there's a Power BI data analyst pathway in Coursera already that will guide you through on everything you need to do. I think way back then there's a way it's paid though, but I don't know if it's still as easy as you apply for financial aid and you get financial aid and you go ahead to take the course and all that. So that's basically what we used to do then. So that's a very good pathway to also follow. Yes, so I want to appreciate everyone that started with us and stayed with us. Sometimes when you organize a session, you get a lot of questions. Then when you go ahead to organize the session, some persons show up, some don't show up. Then you leave after that, you still get the same question again, and I get confused. Like what's going on? And we all want to succeed, we want to get this thing, but I think they fail to realize that there's a lot of work we need to put in to actually get what we want. So don't forget that part, efforts, consistency, because we use the word consistency and it's very important. We need to be consistent. Even as of now, we're still learning. I have a lot of projects I want to work on. That's me trying to say to myself that I need to put in the effort because I need to get somewhere. Right. So it's very important also. But I want to appreciate everyone that has stayed with us so far. Also, you can the fact that Francis said you should not send him a message that he should be your mentor. Don't worry, send him a message. He can be your mentor. Tell him the challenges you are facing. He would definitely give you a word of advice. Don't you can send Tina a message, send her a message on LinkedIn, but don't go and send her. Can you be my mentor message? Or structure your message. This is the problem you're having. This is what you want. You trust me, if you come in, there's a way you arrange it, not that one that I saw your reports, I want you to mentor me or not. Jesus. Structure it very well, present your problem. She can't ignore it, she'll definitely reply you. they're nice people. They've done it before. You can copy their template. Like I told you, I don't want to tell you the person's template I'm copying, but the person knows I'm copying his template. And like I said, you need to show up. There's a lot of communities for you to join already. I think one of the moments I actually felt proud of myself was I was in Ahmed Ohilowo's community then, and I created the report. And I think his comment immediately he made a comment on the report, and that was when I knew that man, this is working. I need to continue to put in the effort. And like I said, nobody will tell you they are your mentor. I don't know how to mentor anybody, but if you have a challenge, if you want me to jump on a call with you, solve the problem, I can jump on a call with you. If you have a question, you can ask me. I'm very accessible. My number is there. You can send me a message. I'll always reply. So thank you very much, Francis. Thank you, Tina, for everything you've been doing for the data community. We very much appreciate you guys. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything you've done here. I'm going to upload this session on YouTube, then I'm going to share the link also. Thank you very much. Joanne, you can actually send me a message on LinkedIn. I'll send you the link to the WhatsApp community. You can also join the community on LinkedIn also. Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone. Thank you. See you.
Okay.
We'll see you again.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Yeah, bye everyone.